Hello, Duck Pond Diaries number 2, I guess this is. This one's going to be in sections as I have a few minutes here and there during the day, but I wanted to talk more about the duck pond and what that really is. So there was a minor who had told an adult back some point after my mother Debra disappeared, who said someone had told her that he had shot my mother in the head and put her body in the trunk of her car and shotgunned it off into a big stripper pit that had been at that time nicknamed the Duck Pond. It was full of water. So supposedly the car was under the water and it wasn't seen. So my grandmother, Lucille, Debra's mother, says that she told the police this. And then she told me that she never heard anything else, so she assumed that they looked and nothing was found. Fast forward to 1993, 1994. I just had my first child, who I named after my father, Jeffrey. And well, he was about a year old, about a year and a half old. He was about the same age as I was when my mother disappeared, which kind of brought up everything about my mother again at that time. And at that point, I was like, I'm aging myself. I was writing letters to the show Unsolved Mysteries that was on at the time. I was writing letters to the Oprah Winfrey Show that was like huge at the time, and the Evansville Courier and Press, and just anybody, everyone. The Evansville Courier and Press answered me, and they put me in touch with the detective who was on my mother's cold case at that time. Again, this was 1994. My mother disappeared in 1974. And he allowed me to go into the Indiana State Police Evansville Post and sit at a table. And my mom, who raised me, Lucille, Debra's mother, went with me. And we sat there and we were able to view the whole case file. And I read every word. I looked at every paper. I looked at every letter of every word of every paper. I wish that I had a photographic memory and I could remember everything. I don't. It's been so long ago, but I have actually requested a copy of the case file, and I got notification that it was approved and it's being processed by the Indiana Public Records people, but it can take a few months to get it. But anyway, so I read all of this stuff in the case file, and at the end of it, I was like, there's nothing about the duck pond in this whole file. And it was thick. It was, it was all paper at that time. So it was pretty thick. There's nothing about the duck pond. And then my mom went off and she had beef with the detective, and that I'm not involved in that. I don't care. But I mean, I care, but it's not my beef. It never was. But he said if he had received this information, it would have been in the case file. She says that she called, asked for him, someone got on the phone, took the information. She never heard anything else. Again, this was in the 70s and this was in the 90s. So I don't know who she called. I don't know who she talked to. But all I know is it wasn't in the case file and it was never looked at. So at that time, they looked. I was told they found where this location that was nicknamed the Duck Pond was, but that in the 80s, the early 80s, it had been drained of all water and filled in with dirt completely. And that when it had been drained, it contained enough silt, like the quicksand-like dirt at the bottom, that if her car was in the bottom, it wouldn't have been seen by the workers. Years passed, like different detectives the case was passed along to different detectives. There's now an actual cold case unit with Indiana State Police. There didn't used to be, there is now. But back then it just kind of handed off from different detectives. So, to this day, I don't know where the actual original duck pond location is that they said they found. They knew where it was. I wish now that I did. There was one detective that said he was going to take me out to see where it was, but then things kept happening, like it was too muddy to get back out there. It was wintertime, so it was too icy. Like there was always something that came up that he didn't take me. And then I ended up moving here to Florida, so I'm not there anymore. But that is the original duck pond story. So then, actually, I'm gonna pause here and start with fast forward to January 2025, and I'll do that later on today.